everybody, welcome back or welcome to my channel. It's your girl MK Imani, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a sew-in using Curlsqueen hair extensions. So thank you so much to Curlsqueen for sponsoring today's video, but I'm hopping right into it as always. So I'm just showing you guys what came in the package, and it was a very beautiful package, by the way, like one of the best that I've ever gotten. And now I'm hopping right into my braiding pattern. And guys, before you say anything, don't judge me because I'm not the best braider. And I know there's some people out there that will give you an amazing braid pattern, but I'm just not one of those girls, okay? But I'm gonna give you the best I can with what I got, okay? So I'm just doing some braids, and actually this was a older braid pattern from another hairstyle that I had to do, but normally with the sew-in I would do my braids much smaller and closer together. But I feel like for this install, since I was using the net, which you will see a little bit later, I feel like I didn't have to do my braids as tiny. But I would always recommend, if you're doing a sew-in, to do your braids fairly small, because I really did some doo-doo chunky braids. But since I was doing the flip over method, I feel like the most important part, if anything, is to do your two anchor braids going horizontal, which you can see right here. So in the front, I have my leave out, and then right behind my leave out, I have my two anchor braids. And that's just going to make it really seamless at the end, and it's going to give your track something to attach onto so that your flip over method looks seamless. So this is what it looks like. Like I said, it was definitely not my best work, but you know, it's okay. So I am dyeing my hair with the Revlon Color Silk, and then I just went in with my Suave almond, I think it was almond and shea butter shampoo and conditioner, and went through and washed my hair as I always do. And you guys, this hair did not tangle at all, like, and I was really running my fingers through it, like I was raking through it, and I didn't really get any shedding either, so that's great. So now I'm getting into the good part. So what I did was install my net cap, and I always like to do this because if you don't have a lot of braids like I do, using the net just really helps give your hair a little bit more leverage, and you can just sew the tracks onto the net and not necessarily sewing it onto a braid, if that makes sense. So you should be able to fit all of your hair onto your head if you use the net. Hopefully what I said makes sense, but if not, you'll see what I'm talking about, because even with the two bundles, I was able to fit all of it in my hair. And I say only two bundles because this hair was so freaking thick. It felt like I had four bundles in my hair, and it's so big, it's so voluminous. So you definitely only need two bundles, and for some people you might not even need that, you might need one, but I would definitely go with two to be safe, because I have a very big head. So I was like, I don't know if two was gonna work, but two was definitely enough. So what I'm just doing here is sewing around my anchor braid, really just the perimeter of my hair, and then I'm just cutting off the excess cap just to make sure that everything is nice and neat and put together, and you don't need the extra netted cap on your head. So I'm just cutting it off, and it just gives me a nice solid foundation to sew my tracks onto. So this is what it looks like when it was done. Very nice, very cute, very tea. So I'm just kind of giving you guys a close up of just what it looks like, and then now it's time for us to sew. So like I said, these bundles came super thick, and as you saw, I dyed them jet black just to match my hair a little bit more. And this is only my second time doing a sew-in ever in my life, so don't think that I'm a professional, but if I can do it, anybody can do it. And if you know how to sew anything else, like a pair of jeans, or if you know how to sew a hole in your sock, you know how to sew in some hair. So all I did was start off by sewing through the track. When I first start off sewing, I always sew it through the track at first, which can be a little bit tough to get through. But after I sew the first one, just to make sure it's extra sturdy, I will sew underneath the track for the rest of my head. So I only sew through the track when I'm starting off either a new bundle or just to make it extra secure. But other than that, I'm sewing it through the track. And for my first bundle that I was sewing in, well, not even the first bundle, just the first weft that I was sewing down, I did start to sew that on my anchor braid. So I went like halfway up my anchor braid to start it off, and then I just made a circle to the other side of my head. So what you want to do is sew in a U shape so that by the time you get to the top, you have like kind of a perfect U or like a semicircle type of thing. And then that way, when you get to do your flip over method, which I'm going to show you guys later on in the video, it'll be nice and flat and seamless. So like I said, I'm not a professional, I'm not the best sewing expert, but this is what worked for me. And I feel like my tracks are pretty secure in my head, and I feel like the flip over method really worked for me because it's one of my favorite methods to do. It has been for a very long time, but normally I'll just do like a half wig, but this time I did a sew-in and I really like the way that this turned out. And yeah, it looks super cute and it's just really nice and secure on my head, which is very important to me. You don't want tracks slipping out, so you just want to make sure that when you are sewing them, you want your stitches to be fairly close together. Mine weren't super close together because of course when I'm sewing the back of my head I can't see, but I did try my best to make sure that each time I ran the needle through my hair, each stitch was close together. And then as I reach the end of the thread, I do wrap my thread around the needle 3 times and then pull it through just to create a knot. And I'll show you guys this a little bit more in detail later on in the video. But yeah, that's just how I get it to stay. I just pull it through a little bit, like halfway. I'll pull the needle through my braid halfway, wrap the needle, not the needle, child, wrap the thread around my needle 3 times and then pull it all the way through, and then you'll get a knot. So this is what it looked like after one bundle was installed. So I was already like pretty much done with my head. So then when I went in with the second bundle, I'm just doing the same method, just making that U shape. And then this is what it looked like closer as I got to the top. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do the flip over method. Unfortunately, my camera cut off, so if you see a change in quality, I had to use my phone, but it's okay. I just wanted to get the best quality out for you guys, but you know, sometimes stuff happens. So yeah, but like I said, you just want to continue to make that U shape up until you're about this far up, and then I'm going to start to angle my tracks vertically. So before we were making them in a U shape, but now you want to put them in a vertical shape, like up and down. If you don't know what that means, I'm sure everybody know what vertical means, duh. But yeah, so you're gonna start laying each track really close together, but vertically. And this was the only point of time throughout my whole install where I cut the tracks, because I do the flip over method for my tracks so that I don't have to cut them, because cutting them can lead to a lot of shedding and I don't want that. And also when I go to make this into a half wig like I plan on doing, I don't want to have a whole bunch of cut up tracks. I want to be able to just use each bundle as it was designed and as it was sent to me. So I try to limit the amount of times that I have to cut my hair. And this just works best for me. I haven't seen any issues with it being too bulky. But yeah, I thought I'd just let you guys know that. So the only time that I cut my tracks is when I'm doing this flip over method. And that's just because you kind of have to make sure that it looks really flat at the top. You don't want it to be too lumpy when you're doing your flip over. But yeah, so like I said, I'm just laying each track vertically, and then once I get done or I don't have any space left, I'm just gonna cut it and then use the rest of the weft to keep laying the tracks. So at this point, I was closing the final track, like just kind of making it as seamless as I possibly could. And at this point, I think I was running out of hair just a little bit. 2 bundles is more than enough, but I feel like in the back of my head, I put them too close together. So when I got to the top, I ended up having enough. Like it wasn't an issue, but I needed maybe like 2 smaller tracks just to make everything to how I wanted it to be. But I feel like I definitely was able to finesse it, and I just kind of sewed 2 tracks really close together. I don't know how to even describe this, but I made it work. So 2 bundles is definitely enough. I wouldn't have any doubt in my mind about that. But you do want to make sure that you're spacing them out properly in the back and you're not stacking your wefts on top of each other in the back of your head. You know, you want them to be as close as you can possibly get them in the front. So, yeah, that's just a tip. But anyway, now I'm just going in and defining the hair. And for me, I don't know why, but it always takes me like 1 to 2 business days to really find out what style works best on this hair, or not even just this hair, but just curly hair in general, because all curly hair is different. So I like to put in the right products, and I just like to see what works best, what gives me the best, most defined look for me. And yeah, so for me, I've been using the Curl La La by um, Miss Lord, I don't want to mess the name up, but yeah, I'm gonna link it in the description box. But I use the Curl La La, and then I think right here I use the gel, also the flaxseed gel. And then my curls were actually very, very beautiful. Like this was the 4A, 4B texture, and this was 18 inches. So I feel like the 18 inches was the perfect length for me. I didn't even really have to do too much layering to get the look that I wanted. I just did kind of some face framing layers, and that was pretty much it. But I feel like the length looked really, really, really natural and really pretty, and like this could really be my real hair. Like it blended so perfectly with my natural hair. And all I did was just do a twist out, like a flat twist out, to blend my leave out, which I'm going to show you guys right now. So like I said, I did a flat twist, and then all you want to do is of course wait until it dries, and then you just want to take a little piece of your natural hair and then just do a 2-strand twist into the extensions. And for me, I do this method all the time. It gives me the most perfect blend, especially if you're using a texture that is similar to your own natural hair. Because for me, like now, I think I've been wearing this hair for almost a week now, if not a week. And I don't do this every night to my hair because I don't want to manipulate my hair too much. But even if I go 3, 4, 5 days without retwisting it, it still looks good and it still blends with my hair perfectly. So definitely get a texture that matches yours. I'm always going to preach to the choir about that because there's just no reason why our hair is not blending in 2026. Y'all, we're in 2026 and our hair should not be looking funky anymore. Like we just have too many resources for it to not look like that. But anyway, so yeah, that's just how I blend this hair, and I just thought that it looks so beautiful. Like, look at them curls, y'all. Like, this is hair goals. Like, I'm my own hair goals. Because just look at this, like it looks flawless. And this wasn't even my best work. Like I feel like, like I said, it kind of takes me a little while to really see how to define the curls and try to see what works best. But now that I'm looking back at it, like this was bomb. And this looked like the perfect wash and go. Like look at the body, look at the volume. And this was 2 bundles, guys. 2 bundles, and it looked like this. Like I'm definitely making this into a half wig so that I can wear this all the time because it just looks beautiful. And then I'm going to show you guys coming up in a few seconds what this twist out looked like. And this was around day 3 of me wearing this hair. And I'm actually still wearing this twist out right now. And yes, all I did was just twist my hair at night, and I did some really fat sections because I was super tired. But you can do smaller sections if you want, but I did some fairly big ones, and then all I did was take them out. It was like 2 days later, and then this is how it looked. So it looked really voluminous, but it did also kind of tame the hair just a little bit to give it I wouldn't say more definition, but it just gave it more of a relaxed look and not so big. But even though it was still pretty big, but it just In my opinion, it looked really cute this way. So yeah, and I just did like the flip over, had me a nice little side part, and then I went in with a little bit more mousse just to make sure that any pieces in the front that may have gotten a little bit frizzy were nice and defined and juicy. So I just did a finger coil, and this is what it looked like in the end. I just thought this was so cute, y'all. Like, there's so many styles that you can do with this hair. Like, you can do a wash and go, you can do a twist out, you can do a braid out. And I think next I want to do a flexi rod set because y'all, I love me a good flexi rod set. So let me know down in the comments if you want to see that. I might do maybe a YouTube shorts or something showing how I do the flexi rod set. But yeah, I think I want to do that sometime this week. I just need to stop being so lazy. But this is the end of the video. Thank you so much to Curlsqueen, and thank you to everyone who watched this video. I love you guys, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.